Hey there, Whiskey Man, it's Zach. I wanted to give a bit of a response to your video, Tony Snow Job, and want to look at a couple of different aspects that I don't know whether you were thinking about them or not. Probably the most important one, I think, has to do with reciprocity and maintaining civility. In terms of reciprocity, I think if you could just think about, for example, the fact that in the not too distant future, Ted Kennedy is going to die. I think, if he were to die while Bush were still in office and, we had a lot of Republicans up there in the House and the Senate, that we would want them to, pay some homage to him and treat him in a respectful fashion and say, nice things about him. And I don't think that's unreasonable to expect. Certainly I don't want to compare Tony Snow to Ted Kennedy, but I think, there's a certain, just a base level of respect that kind of goes with, the territory of, someone who is known and then having kind of this just very basic level of respect when somebody dies. And I don't think that extends very far, after their death at all. I mean, the judgment of history is usually very swift and very harsh. But the other thing I think is that you've always got to remember that, generally speaking, and I know this isn't true of all people, I think some people are married to their jobs, but I think all people have a life outside of politics, and it's partly out of respect for that, and the fact that they're not going to have any more life, whatsoever, in or out of politics, that once again, I think it's important to offer at least a base level of respect. Now, in terms of expressing your feelings, I think you could certainly however conspicuously not participate, and certainly you shouldn't feel compelled to say anything nice about anybody who has just recently died. But and take for example, a perfect example of someone I think doing a really strong protest in what I consider to be a perfectly acceptable sort of way was a guy who actually accepted early retirement rather than fly the flag at half-mast to honor Jesse Helms when he died recently. So I think don't feel compelled to say anything nice about it. If anybody asks you what your opinion of Tony Snow is, certainly you can tell them, or why you're not, participating in some kind of event where people are praising him. I don't know why you would be attending that, but if you were. And so there are kind of, to me that's just how it hashes out in terms of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable to do when somebody dies. And once again, that's a very short period of time. I don't know. I'm just pulling these numbers out of my ass now. Maybe a couple weeks to a month after their death. And then probably it's going to be open season again, in terms of evaluating someone's success or failure as a human being, in terms of their achievements on Earth. It's just that little window, and I think for the reasons I said. So hopefully that's not too long-winded an answer. I think it's considerably longer than your video, but I can't say anything short. That's just my problem.